ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me.
All right, the Western Conference seeds are set. Detroit Pistons are number 1. Miami Heat are number 10. The Bulls are wrong show. Let's talk NFC North football. Yeah, the Timberwolves did make it. How far were they? Well, they're gonna get the Lakers, the beat up Lakers in the first round. So congrats to them on getting to the second round once again.
Are they beat up though? But let's not get into that.
Yeah, they are. But come on, you got beat up 23-year-old versus beat up 41-year-old. I'll take the odds. Right through the Lakers' chest. And with that said, we are Dave. How many days are we away from the NFL draft?
2 weeks from tomorrow, Thursday. We have round 1.
Can't wait. You got any special plans for it? Well, what's going on over the Vikings First Score? A live stream?
A live stream. Vikings First and Goal will live stream all 3 days of the draft. And we will also have live shows during the midday as well to go over what we plan for that night in case of Thursday, or the follow-up of what happened in round 1. Hopefully we don't trade out of the first round, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, etc.
Foster, what you all doing? You all have I guess a sister live stream going on, or a watch along where you all just eat nachos and just yell at the TV about what's going on, about who y'all drafted. Is June going to go live to curse out?
right. Gamble for drafting another tight end,
which will co-sign that it was a great draft if he does that. But it's been, the draft coverage has been light for us, but we'll definitely be reviewing the picks as they come across the stream and giving their fair breakdown.
Now, you said it's 15 days away for the draft. That is it's not as many days as it's been since the Packers have won a game. It's been 122 days since they've called themselves winners. They are eternal losers, not just in our books, but in the record books. So Dave, Foster, everybody watching, let's go ahead and talk about the Packers and everything else going on in the NFC North. Not a lot of news so much right now. It's lion season. And I don't mean that in the animal terms, Foster. I mean that is in the cap. It's capping season. You got a lot of people lying, throwing things out the way because it's draft season. You want to throw people off your scent, right? But so we're not listening to nothing right now, right? It's eternally April Fools. But we are going to get into a little bit of the news going on right now. Dave, how is the Vikings preparing for this draft without a general manager?
Well, actually pretty well. I think Executive Vice President Rob Brzezinski, who's acting interim GM at the moment, has been involved with the team for almost 30 years, I believe, 30, maybe 30 more than 30. He's the cap guru. He's been involved with all of this through time. He knows the Wilfs very well, and he knows the team, i.e. KOC, Brian Flores, and the whole draft crew, his scouts and everything, extremely well. So I think what we're going through right now is they're gathering the last bits of information and racking and stacking the board just about right. We've had some top 30 visits, which have been sort of interesting, where they lie in the whole thing. And we're getting ready for it. I have no qualms at this moment in time. Now, give me Thursday night, 2 weeks from now, I may have a qualm, but not now.
No qualms. Okay. I did not mean to besmirch. It is WrestleMania season as well. I think this is WrestleMania 42 coming up. So for all those who celebrate WrestleMania, congrats. Or not necessarily congrats, but happy Wrestle Day or whatever. Foster, what's going on in Detroit land, man? I've heard you all swimming in the sea looking for another edge rusher, Joey Bosa.
Yeah, we've been linked to Joey Bosa. He's obviously had some injury issues.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Should fit perfect with your bunch.
Yeah, as far as injuries are concerned, but he also would be a pretty decent third down edge rusher guy. He still performs at a high level as far as that's concerned. Not so much on the run defense, but he still grades out high at pass rush. He had 5 forced fumbles last year, which led all edge rushers in 5 sacks. And I don't think that would just eliminate all needs, but with us having some, project guys and some, younger guys, he will provide some, some stability and some, you knowing what you're going to get with him. He's a vet. He's been around, and he could be a guy that could, pin his ears back and get after the quarterback on pass obvious situations.
But you don't really want him, right? I mean, if there was a pass rusher available, and you came away with Joey Bosa, would you be happy with that? Let me go ahead and just stop playing around with it. New York Giants. It's expected that they're, like I said a couple of months ago, when I said instead of the Bears trying to go get Max Crosby, they need to be calling the New York Football Giants. They need to be talking about, hey, you already drafted Abdul Carter last draft. I know you don't want to keep your boy Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence. So now, as a soothsayer I am, the Dexter Lawrence conversation is now on the table. He seems to be available, and outside of the Packers, because last offseason they went and got Micah Parsons. They cannot go do it again. So we're going to exclude this from this conversation. Dave, I'm gonna start with you. Dexter Lawrence, will he look good in purple and yellow? And what would you like? What could you possibly give up to get him?
I'd give up my left testicle to get sexy Dexy. He would look great in purple and gold, shaking the belly and the whole works. Absolutely. Now, on a serious note, would the Vikings be willing to have Dexter Lawrence? Dexter Lawrence is by far probably the best nose tackle in the NFL. He has more pressures from the nose position, 0 technique and 1 technique, than any other defensive tackle in the league over the last 3 years. It's just been outstanding. His sacks dipped a little last year, and we'll use that in the negotiation if we need to take it that way. But he normally gets around 10 sacks-ish and well over 50 pressures per season. He is just a beast, and he gets double-teamed every single time, sometimes triple-teamed. And if he does it, he will destroy the offensive line, and in particular, the center. Hey, I could send you clips of him absolutely destroying Garrett Bradbury, and it wasn't pretty at all. He picked Garrett up and forklift him back, and it was just not a pretty sight. But would I love to see him in purple and gold? You bet I would. And I can guarantee you 99% of our fan base would too. Are we going to see him? Probably not.
If the Bears play, I think they aren't on the schedule this year, the Giants. If the Bears did play them, and well, if Dexter did find his way onto our schedule again, he probably will be trying to look for some payback after the Bears right tackle Darnell Wright through his teammates all through that game. But Foster, before I ask you about Dexter Lawrence, there's a comment in our live chat right now that I want to highlight for you. It's directly talking about the Detroit Lions. Larry Borum is not much of a drop-off from the injured and severely declined play of Taylor Decker last year, moving so well to the left and putting the weak link at right tackle in the line of vision in the line division is a win for the Lions. Do you agree with that?
We talked about it a little bit yesterday. I said that push comes to shove, we could probably get by with that. But I definitely still see the Lions addressing that early in the draft, as early as the first round, with the best available left tackle. Best available left tackle. Well, just best available tackle in the first round. But Borum is a nice. I think he's a nice insurance policy and a guy that we can move around.
That's exactly what Larry Borum is. As someone who knows Larry Borum infinitely well, as a former Chicago Bear, Larry Borum is at his best insurance. You don't want him on the field. If you got to depend on him, it's not going to go well to you. As far as Bears, as long as we've been doing this show, guys, we're going into our 4th season doing the NFC North Roundtable. Who we became? I've been telling you all the whole time the Bears need pass rush, and like I said, as I said earlier, I circled the Giants as having an overflow of talent of pass rushers. Dexter Lawrence, and I agree with you, Dave. He is immensely talented. You cannot find a better 3 technique in the league if you tried.
Well, where you're talking 3, I'm talking 0 or 1. Either what, he plays both, and he is outstanding. Period.
He moves up and down that line. He is incredible. I would love to have him. If the Harbaugh lights, if they want to make him available, perfect. I would have set up a Thibodeau. If they let Dexter Lawrence available, listen, let's just cut the shenanigans right now. We all love the draft. We all value having those blank check assets, right? But you can have 2 of them right now. You put Dexter Lawrence on the you call Dexter Lawrence, you get his agent on the phone, you get Harbaugh on 3-way, and you do this after 7:00, so the minutes are free. You get them all on the phone. And you say, I got 2 draft picks for you. Come get them and send Buddy on the first trip, on the first plane to O'Hare. Stop playing around. The Bears, this is our window. Dexter Lawrence would solve a lot of issues with going on for the Bears. In fact, we won the draft if you get Dexter Lawrence, just that one player. We won the draft. We don't have to do anything else.
It's interesting. Very, very interesting. Now,
well, it's a good thing that I'm not it's a good thing I'm not the GM, because I probably messed everything up.
all in, just put the chips in.
I researched how Dexter Lawrence would fit in all 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great fit. He's a great fit for every team in the league. That's the problem. He is so good and can play a multitude of different defensive styles, whether it be 4-3, 3-4, all that sort of stuff. He can play that. And I asked who in the NFC North is most likely to go for him. Now, it's been reported the Bears have already called the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
They are interested. Which I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all 4 teams could make it happen with some gymnastics, cap gymnastics. Now, the Bears and the Lions or not the Bears, but the Packers and the Lions are in the best position cap-wise. Unfortunately. The Bears are actually in the worst, but we won't go there. Could they make it happen? Yes, they could. You could extend players, move money around, all that sort of wonderful cap magic stuff to make it happen. The Bears, though, are probably the most likely team out of the 4 to get Sexy Dexy. And that kills me, because if he doesn't come to the Vikings, I don't want him in the division. I don't want him in the conference, but especially not in the division. because he would cause havoc across the rest of the division. And yes, you guys would win the draft. You win the offseason every year. You would win the draft with this one move. I'll give you that. But I don't think it's going to happen. You've got to be able to give whatever they want in the way of draft compensation, which could be a high second and a third or a first and something. And then you've got to give him an extension. And he's looking to make approximately $30 million a year, anywhere from $27 to $35 million a year. That's costly. Now you can, make it so the first 2 years are not bad, but can you work it out long term? The second most team likely to make a move for Sexy Dexy is that team from Wisconsin.
God, no.
However, could they make it happen? Yes. Could they then pay a bunch of their veterans that are coming up due in the future, because they would have to extend Sexy Dexy? And the answer is probably no. Those extensions include Tucker Kraft, Christian Watson, Jordan Love, and of course, Micah Parsons. So they are one of the least likely teams to do it. Minnesota would love to do it, but we worry about the money issue down the road. And Detroit, the fans would love it, but they're probably the least likely of the 4 teams to do it, unfortunately.
Sorry, false.
Because they're going for the young type stuff. And but
Shout out to
like
R.
I said, if he moves from New York and there's no certainty that he's going to be traded, the Giants haven't said we're going to trade him. He's just demanding, I'm not coming to work until I get a pay raise. Sounds like Myles Garrett, doesn't it? And so with that, we're going to have to wait and see. But would I love him in purple and gold? Oh, yes, I would. He reminds me of Pat Williams back in the day. And I love me a new great nose tackle. Oh, it'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it be?
It would take our defense from top 5 to number 1.
I did want to touch on just the fit for the Lions, although it's not very realistic because Brad Holmes doesn't really make those moves, and he likes to covet his draft picks. But I think one thing that people discount when they talk about pressure and getting to the quarterback, they always think about the edge rushers. They don't give the credit to the interior guys that can kind of really blow things up right in the face of the quarterback. And although his sack numbers went down considerably, I think to a half sack from 9 last year, it didn't affect his, the grades in the slightest. And that's because of the fact that I assume that he takes on so many blocks at one time. But and he even had a interception last year somehow. I'm not really sure. But one of the big things that jump out at me is the fact that although he's a veteran, he's very durable. He pretty much plays every game. And obviously in Detroit, we, respect durability and would like to see more of that from our guys. But right now we have a big hole on the interior side opposite Tyleik Williams, who was our first round pick last year. DJ Reed is a free agent. He was having a down year. I don't know what our interest would be to bring him back. And then Roy Lopez went back to Arizona for more money. He was a guy that I would have liked for us to, he was kind of a surprise. He was looked at as a depth piece, but he came in and did an exceptional job on the interior last year. So that's something that we're going to have to address. Outside of that, we got a couple guys that I think are like Levi Onwuzurike, who's been out for the season several years in a row, and a couple a couple other guys, but yeah, the big gaping hole on the opposite side of Tyreek Williams. So that would be nice, but I think that the beyond the fact that he's going to cost a second and others or a first round pick, that $30 million $30 million cost that he would demand is a little too much for us, I'm thinking.
You said something interesting there. Would you give up a first, Foster, Dave? Would a first be in the conversation for you if the deal was there to be made, and they said we need a first plus? Don't worry about the plus, but the first. You coming off that first?
I think it will be worth it. Especially if you plan on paying them anyways, go all in, because you're gonna have them for the long haul anyways. And as far as how much of an impact, like Dave said, when you would go from top 5 to number 1, I think his impact is that to where you deal with it. I mean, last year our first round pick is, well, it's not as late as it was last year, but it's 17. It's kind of out of the reach of the elite guys. You're not gonna get the best person at that position anyways.
But yes, to answer your question, Pay, I would give up number 18 for Dexter Lawrence. You've got a known commodity. In the last 3 years, he's had 108 pressures as a nose tackle. The next closest is Vita Vea, and Vita's had 32.
That's crazy.
And then the following by DJ Jones and DJ Reader at 28, Jordan Davis at 26, Canu Benton at 23, Roy Lopez at 22. Then you get Quinnen Williams and Travis Jones. And his equivalent, most likely it'd be like Quinnen Williams type trade deal.
That's what I was
thinking. Then you get Javon Hargrave at 18, Harrison Phillips at 16. And that's over the last 3 seasons. Now, when you talk, he did miss some games due to injuries. And when he did miss games, the impact was for the Giants. They dropped to 31st in pressure rating, 31st in pass success rating, 30th in EPA against the pass, and 30th in sack rates when he was off the field. On the field, number 8 in pass success, number 8 in sack rate, number 10 in EPA per pass, number 3 in YPA, and 15 in pressure rate. All right, if you're going to jump up 15 spots roughly or better just by being on the field, you're definitely worth a first-round draft pick.
I had questions. I wouldn't care about giving up the first round. I mean, just for this season alone, the Bears are 25. I'll give up that first round pick. You had that. But as far as you said it, Foster, he's just outside of that elite, even though the numbers.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about. I was talking about as far as the draft pick. You're not gonna get the best left tackle. You're not gonna get the best corner. You're not gonna get the best edge rusher. That's what I mean by that.
Okay, yeah. Whoever you get at our position, 25, at your position, 18, and so on and so forth, Dexter Lawrence is better. But to that point, I don't think I don't think the Giants are really serious about giving him up. I think they would trade Thibodeau first to make that money for it, because the trade request is coming from Les Lawrence's agent. It's just really just a ploy. We all know this. We trade me now so I can get my money. Yeah, and then they ended up going to give him the money. They're going to get somebody else out the paint, give him that money, which comes right back around to what I said first. Bears, Thibodeau, get on the phone and give me Thibodeau. Right. We can stop playing around with this Max Crosby thing.
Why do you like Thibodeau so much?
Because he's better than what we got, and it made perfect sense. Why would we spend so much capital to get Max Crosby, who's on a bum leg? All the issues that come with that. Not to say that he's a bad team or anything like that, but all the furniture you got to move to get Max Crosby. Well, you can. It was a simple deal to get Thibodeau in the building. I think Thibodeau and Max Crosby are closer than people realize.
Hold
I'd have
on.
preferred that.
He's only had one good year though.
He's been injured. He's had an injured season, not to the extent that Max Crosby's injured, because I think his injuries are a little bit more
Lingering type.
Those type of injuries that's gonna stick around for a little bit and bring you back to the earth. Not like the Artemis 2, but I think there's more. Meat on the bone with Thibodeau's left, because he's only about 24, 25.
He's young.
I think you can get more out of that. Yeah. I'd have preferred that. You could have traded DJ Moore while he was still in the Bears uniform. You got DJ Moore up out of here because they need receivers over there for Jackson Dart. Jackson hit my head Dart, and maybe a third round pick, maybe a second. Just spitballing here. And could have got Thibodeau. You'd have been better. You'd have been in a better position than where you are today.
Where did DJ Moore go to?
DJ Moore is in Buffalo.
Oh,
congrats to him. He's got Josh Allen throwing him passes now.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Let's go ahead and take that first break. We'll come back, talk about some more around the NFL stuff. And before we go, I just want to let everybody know it is only 15 days to the draft. And it's still only 122 days since the Packers have called themselves a winner.
Need a Garrett's popcorn break.
What else you all will talk about around the NFL? There's a lot of news. There's the 18th game that might be a possibility now. There is the Bears Stadium. What do you call the ring? What's that thing at the festival, Dave? That thing that goes around and around and around.
Roller coaster?
No, not a roller coaster.
Ferris wheel?
No, not that. No, not the Ferris wheel. Come on, Dave. You know this answer.
The
thing the kids get on.
Yeah, it's
with the horses, and it goes up and down, up and
carousel.
We'll just call it a carousel. We'll call it that. There's that information, which I'm going to say it again. It's no updates.
Your stadium updates is a saga. It's a soap opera. It's like a Mexican soap opera. It is so over the top.
Is that the one that Stephen A. Smith is on?
It could be. It is so over the top. You have originally the Bears saying,
Sorry, Dave.
America.
Shout out to Chris Viking. Merry-go-round.
Yeah, carousel.
There we go. But it starts off with, back 2022 when the Bears said, "Hey, we need some stuff fixed," and they're getting stuff stolen out of Soldier Field. The whole works into we need this, and then it went to all right. Let's move out to the racetrack. The Bears bought the land at the racetrack. So, all right, let's do that. And then that doesn't get anywhere. And then, all right, maybe we can redo Soldier Field. No, that ain't going to happen. All right, where else? Well, Indiana wants to play. Iowa wants to play. All right, let's see, where else does it go? You got Governor Pritzker saying, no money. And suddenly now Bears are getting close to saying, hey, a deal's got to be done by the end of the month or we're gone. So there's a little bit of pressure. And Governor Pritzker's like, I'm putting stuff through to the state house. Let's see what they do down in Peoria. And then
Springfield.
All right. And
It's far.
I only used to live in Illinois, so you think I know, but I probably killed that brain cell. Anyways, and then you've got your mayor coming out and say, hey, no, we want to use this location, which has already been explored and canned by the Bears and the NFL as not suitable. And then what was it last week? You had the architect do the design for retooling Soldier Field, which I thought was beautiful design. It was an idea. Now that ain't going to happen either. So we're waiting on the end of the month for the Bears to do what they do in the woods or get off the pot. And I would wager that deadline will probably come and go, and the Bears will still be extending for at least one more season this soap opera that is the stadium update.
Well, Dave, I appreciate the soliloquy. You are very good at those. Want to point out that location that you highlighted that they explored and said is not going to happen. That is at Michael Reese Hospital, just outside of the South Loop. Those familiar with the Chicago area, 31st Street, right off the the Turnpike, where it's going into Lakeshore Drive. It's actually very close to Soldier Field, walking distance, to be honest with you. Only thing in between is McCormick, the old McCormick place. And yeah, I don't think that
you'll end up going a little bit
not
further south and east.
No, Dave.
Hammond.
No, stop it. Stop it right now. The thing with this is, you're right. They might end up just extending. Illinois might call their bluff. Say, you know what, we're talking about it. The legislative period ends May 31st. You know, we might have something for you. We might have to still push it back further. And the Bears might say, you know what, okay, we'll extend our deadline just a minute. Their lease on Soldier Field they've still got 6 more seasons left on their lease at Soldier Field. So plenty of time to build wherever.
It's going to take a few years to build a new stadium.
Not 6.
No, not 6. But everything construction-wise goes slow in Illinois.
Oh, don't even start with that.
Well, it does.
There's things that's been under construction my entire life, and I am not a spring chicken. I'm wearing a hat to hide all my grays. I'm not a spring chicken, and there's things that's been under construction forever in Chicago.
Especially when it comes to roads.
And that is the big sticking point as it pertains to Soldier Field. Other than it being old, and they want a roof, and they want more attendance, more seating, right? It's the ingress and egress. That's the big thing. That's the problem with Soldier Field. And here, while we're talking about Springfield and all the politicians, me and my co-host at Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel, we talked about, is Pritzker not paying enough attention to this issue and spending too much time trying to get his war chest ready so he can make a particular career move in 2028. And if that's the case, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to talk politics, but he might not get my vote. Lose the Bears, you lose me. Sorry.
Bread and circus,
sorry, buddy.
Baby. Bread and circus.
I don't care. I don't care. You don't get up there on
bread
that podium.
Circus keeps the fans happy, and if you give them bread and circus, it keeps the voters happy, the citizens. If you take away the bread and circus, you might get rebellion.
Listen, I don't eat bread. I don't care about the circus. I was never a big fan of Bozo, but I just want to keep me happy. I only care about me. Keep me happy.
Talking
I like
Roman
to go
history.
I get it. I get it. Skull Vikings. I got you. But just keep me happy, and I'm fine. I don't want to call the Bears Indianimals. I don't want the Bears in Iowa. I don't even want the Bears in Arlington Heights, but I'll settle. But Pritzker, I got faith. I got faith him and Springfield and all those elites down there, because they are elites. They will probably get on the stage and say, hey, I'm standing up to the billionaires. Pritzker got more money than 3 McCaskies. So I don't want to hear none of that. Let's get all this stuff done, because I'm tired of talking about it. Get a new stadium, and let's do what my man Campo in the comments said. Tired of it. Let's get some new stuff going on. They move them done, and that governor and mayor will never get elected again. That's facts. It's going to stay in there. It's going to stay in their legacy for a long time.
But it will take away one of my shticks on this show.
Can't do that, Dave. What else is going on in the NFL in 18 games?
18
Dave,
games.
you remember about a year ago, me and you were talking about that collusion case that happened with the NFL, and how the union is basically a terrible union. They swept underneath the rug that the league was playing the players in their face, just playing in their face. And what ended up happening with some great journalism, some great undercovering and reporting coming from out of Pablo Torre and Mike Florio, ended up having a whole power struggle in the union. Their head got fired. Trotter, the number 2, he had to resign. The whole mess going on with unions, right? As someone who's been in the union for a good chunk of their life, I hated that story from the point of it. But now, as we are in Easter season, J.C. Treader has resurrected.
Mm-hmm.
You like that, didn't you, Faust? So now J.C. Treader is back, and now he's leading the union. So now it's perfect timing, because the NFL definitely wants to bring their old whipping boy back and say, hey, let's talk about the 18th game. How would you all feel about an 18th game? You like more football?
Oh yeah,
Of course.
I'm cool with it.
The only annoying part is that it says more. Part of the reason is more international games, and I'm not a big fan of the international games.
Oh yeah,
Although Lions will make their debut in Germany this year, so yay.
Out of the 18 weeks, regular season weeks, 16 will have international games.
That's like the
idea is to play all 32 teams in at least one international game.
There'll be one per week. There'll be one per week is the plan. You know, everything's about money. It isn't just an additional game. It's an additional game to sell to their media partners. Hey, we're going to have an international game every week. Somebody's going to be somewhere else where they have no business being, and we're going to sell that to you for another $10 billion.
Yeah, you'll get whatever channel in England. I don't remember them all, but BBC 2 pays an extra $10 billion to cover it over there, or whatever it is. I think it was ITV4 back in the day when I was over there, when we only had dial channels. They had the rights, and it's that extra money. It grows because the owners like it, because they split the earnings. It's 50-50. It's not home team takes the gross sort of deal. It's 50-50, so they get it. They're usually larger, more well-attended. They're bigger stadiums generally, especially when you think of playing down in Mexico City and it holds 100,000 people and it packs it.
That's crazy.
And the NFL wants to expand the brand. They want people in Europe begging for it. They want people in Central and South America begging for it. They want, as of this year, people in Australia begging for it. Bring it back down here. Make it a regular thing. I'm surprised Japan isn't on the list yet. They used to be way back when it was a scrimmage type deal. But I'm sure it'll develop into that. And then they will go, hey, come play here. We got a stadium. We got the people to fill it. Let's do this. And the NFL is going to go, yeah, cha-ching, 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 all the way to the bank.
So does that mean that a franchise is coming to Europe in general, if there's going to be a team there every year? I mean, every week?
No, I don't believe so.
Not one of these American teams. They'll just expand and put some other teams over there and then just do that, hop over the
NFL Europe.
Because NFL Europe was a thing at one point, but it wasn't. It wasn't. So.
Oh, no. I believe it. Dave, you're old enough. You remember the Concorde?
Oh, yeah.
The technology is there to get over the Atlantic Ocean a lot faster than what we do now. Yeah, it's right, False. So they
what you mean?
Concorde was a supersonic transport for passengers. It was bought and paid for by Europe. They funded it, and British Airways and Air France used it, and they would fly at Mach 2.5-ish, somewhere over there, over the Atlantic. And instead of a 5-hour trip from New York to London, it took 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. It was just never got off the ground commercially. It wasn't financially viable. That's why it down.
You're buying a first class. You had to pay first class prices,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't get the room. You didn't get this. Well, you got the service, but you didn't get the room. It was tight fitting. Now, are they building supersonic airlines again? Yes, they're in the process of experimenting with that because they try to get rid of the sonic boom. That was the big thing. It couldn't fly supersonic over land because it makes too much noise, and that violates a whole lot of environmental whining people to hear a sonic boom. And they're bringing down the cost. If they can bring down the cost to where it's like flying business class, and that's the whole idea, that you're paying a business class ticket price versus a first class ticket price, they'll fill them. And if you're going to take that and do that with fan bases or do that with the team itself, you can afford that. Because the people that travel overseas are generally, our fan base is great at going to overseas games, and they'll generally fly over and spend a week, have a good time, see the sights.
It's like a trip to Europe, but there's a football game going on.
Yeah, and you take it in.
Well,
They can generally afford that business class fare.
Well, Dave, my idea was just make the charter flights. I mean, make the charter planes into that
for the team.
Don't even care about the fan base. The fan base
Right.
can do
I
the
wouldn't
same
take the
flights.
fans. Yeah.
If you could do the charter flights that way, there's a huge problem solved, right? But let's take a step back from that. Let's just talk about as fans, as people who sit in front of these mics and bloviate and bemoan what we watch on Sunday. You all say you would love football, but you all generally you all have been watching football for a long time. Week 18 games are they all that exciting that you will actually add another one? You know what I'm saying? Week 17, the product, the more you add, are you concerned that you are diluting the product towards the end of the season?
It's more about having one less preseason game than the
right. You're playing the same amount of games, but now 18 count instead of 17 count. Now it looks like they'll be adding a second bye week,
right,
to allow players to recover, which I think is a good thing.
Great thing.
The Super Bowl a week because of that, which is a good thing, because it'll end up on President's Day weekend, so that everybody has Monday off. You go to the Super Bowl, you get smashed, you buy your mattress, you go to sleep on your new mattress.
People have been asking about that anyways, for that to be a holiday or whatever. So problem solved.
And that problem solved. I think it's a great thing that they do it. Now, it's going to involve negotiations. Players aren't just going to give it away and say, all right, we'll take the 18th game paycheck. And with the 18th game paycheck, that means they're getting more money, whereas the owners might say, well, we'll just divide your pay divided by 18 instead of 17. And they're going to go, no, you keep it equal, whatever we got for 1/17th, and you add that little bit, that 18th of that on top of that. And that's going to take the 51-49 split or whatever the split is that the union negotiates, and it's going to make that larger for the players, which I don't mind. They earn it. Let them do that.
I was listening to an interview earlier this week from DeMaurice Smith. You all remember him, former head of the union. He said before he took over, the NFL expanded the season, I think it was twice. The players did not get any extra pay. They actually took pay cuts. And when they did expand it the last time, we did the math on this very show. We did the math. The middle, what do you call it? The middle class of the union, they got more money. The lower end players, the rookies, they got more money. The stars, they were doing it for free, basically. So, Dave, it sounds good that you work more, you get more. But these billionaires, they're a little crafty. They know how to get free. They get free labor.
Well, we'll see. If I was the head of the union, I would be demanding that. That would be one of the concessions the NFL would have to make, is that our percentage goes up by 1/18 across the board, period. Whatever that number works out to. And it would be mandated. Now, they're also asking for other things. They want lifetime health. Okay, you can say, well, all right, I won't take the 1/18 extra pay if you give me lifetime health insurance, healthcare, right? That has a cost all its own, and you can figure that in. There's the roster size. Right now, we have an active roster of 53. Game day, you can only suit up, 47, something like that. We'll move that 53 to 60. Employ more players.
You're definitely not getting more money if you employ more people, Dave.
Right.
That's how you get that. It's more union dues, but people that's already in the union, they're not getting more money.
Now, the other thing is limit the padded practices, which I think is a mistake. But I think just going down to 2 preseason games is going to be rough. You've got to make contact part of the preseason, but
you got to callous the body, Dave. You got to callous the body. Remember we said that a lot.
Your favorite thing.
Yeah,
but all those things are on the table to make it happen. Now, when does it supposed to happen? When does the NFL want it?
2027.
Why?
Because they have not scheduled the Super Bowl for that year yet. It is already open. That date is wide open. So in case we get this, and let's bring it all back full circle. If they can use their whipping boy JC Treader, say, hey, you know what? Let's just go ahead and make this real easy on you. Give us this, and we won't put a horse's head in your bed. And then the schedule's already done. They ain't got to do nothing after that. Foster, did you get that reference?
That's Godfather, right?
That's my boy.
There you go. Yes, because
got it.
The NFL announced the Super Bowls in Atlanta and Las Vegas, but did not give any dates.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because they want that 18th game early, because the present CBA runs through 2030. They want it, amended so it happens next year, 2027. You are exactly right, Pay. Good job.
There's another one. So I posited that we are exchanging more football for bad football at the end of the season. You all say, yeah, maybe not so much, because you're just going to take away a preseason game, but
which is bad football.
Which would be bad football in September. Instead of having bad football in December, getting ready for the playoffs, now you just got a whole month of bad football in September. Usually it's only about 2 weeks of bad football because they took away so many preseason games because they didn't properly callous the body.
Right.
Now we're gonna have a whole month of bad football. So those who play fantasy football, it's gonna be rough. Those who bet week 1 through 4, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be rough hitting those overs. Yeah, I mean, and Dave, not to make light of that, you do want to reopen the CBA, not necessarily for their schedule. I mean, that's a part of it, right? Because it has to be bargained with both sides. But there's also a little tidbit about there because they've already reopened the negotiation with CBS. So the NFL is going to make some more money soon.
They want to go from the players now get 47 to 48.5%, and they want to get it over 50%. And with the new TV contracts, and those are expanding, and then the streaming contracts, and the betting stuff will come in. That pie is just getting bigger and bigger, and everybody's going to make money off of it.
Mhm.
If players want more, which I agree with them. You more labor, give me more pay.
It sounds American until it ain't. Speaking of, the NFL has been they've done it a lot lately. They've been just stealing things that usually weren't theirs. They stole Christmas. They're stealing football on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and everything. The pandemic just showed them a way. And you posited, Dave, earlier about why haven't they tried to invade China? You know, shout out to World War II. That's the Major League Baseball territory. They're not too far off. Guam and the rest of them islands over there, they ain't that far from the NFL. They're already in Hawaii. The NFL's next. Japan is next.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing the Pro Bowl back in Hawaii. Everybody enjoyed that.
Did we?
John Madden didn't.
I mean, the players did.
Okay.
Especially back in the day when they'd have the competitions on the beach and they'd be throwing the footballs at the targets. And all that.
I missed that.
Playing the volleyball, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Brett Favre show up drunk and trying to do target practice. Just regular Sunday for him. Just drunk playing football. Foster, where can everybody see you and everything that you all got going over to the bleachers and speakers? What you got coming up?
Draft coverage. We'll be covering the Lions all the way up into the draft. We'll be covering the Pistons. The return of Cade Cunningham is finally upon us. We'll get to see him play tonight. And you will get the Tigers every Sunday afternoon/evening. Recapping a week in baseball.
Excellent. That live watch along that's going to happen at Vikings First and Skull. Leading up to that, where as we already had the taglines underneath our names, Vikings First and Skull, you can find it on X, but the YouTube channel and everywhere else on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Dave, what are the good people going to get once they subscribe over there?
Well, they're going to get, first off, when we get to draft week's going to be a minimum 2 shows a day effort to go through, and including the live broadcast for the draft, each round to the minute. And then, but tomorrow night we have the Real Forno show, and we're going to go over some stuff, and I forget what it was. It's going to be interesting, and it has to deal with the draft. We're all in pre-draft mode for the most part. We talked about Dexter Lawrence trade on Monday and how it technically it's not going to be likely for the Vikings due to financial reasons. Tyler was pissing in everybody's Wheaties, and it just happened to go over that way. But the fans want it. I'll give them that. The fans want it. I want to see the belly and all the thing. Yes, I do. It is what it is. And then, of course, Sunday, you have Darren and I in our long form format that go on Two Old Bloggers as we discuss it. And I'm sure we'll break down Dexter Lawrence one more time until he gets traded to the Vikings.
Awesome. Also, for those interested, Bleachers into Speakers is found right here. Don't miss it. And over here at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, we got stuff popping off every day. Seems like I don't get no break from posting and editing. Tomorrow, Baseball Thursday, we got Cubs content and White Sox weekly. Well, White Sox and BS. Don't miss that show. It's a very funny show from the White Sox creators over here at this channel, where they break down the week for the White Sox. They're ecstatic. They actually swept the team. They won 3 games in a row for the first time in 30 years, something like that. I don't know. I may be off a few decades, but in any case, that's on Thursday.
Did you see the clip of the Twins opener?
The Twins? Oh, didn't they just play the what was it? The Houston Astros?
I have a clue who it was, but I remember they're introducing the players, right? Mm-hmm. And the TV's panning the crowd. There may have been 80 people in the entire stadium.
Right now they're playing the Tigers and handling us, but
they've been killing my parlays. It's pissing me off with these Twins. Start losing, please.
Oh, don't worry, they will. No, the 2 teams that are doing well in Minnesota are the Timberwolves and the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, yeah.
Playoff intensity in Minnesota. But always basketball on Mondays over at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. We have this show on Wednesdays, and football. We cover football pretty much every day. Don't miss it out. Don't miss it here at FCSF. We can be found everywhere you get your podcasts, TikTok, YouTube, and everywhere in between. What do we say on the way out there, Dave?
It's Masters Week. We say Skull Vikings.
Shout out to Tiger Woods. What do you say there, Foster? One pride.
He wants me to hit the button.
Come on, man. You got to say the 1P. You got to say the OP.
OP.
One pride.
And as always, bear down, everyone.
The Bears.
Appreciate you tapping into this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you was watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with everybody on the block, and hit the notification bell so you never miss none of our daily drops. And to all the guys from the Shy, we say 3 things. Bear down, fly the W, and sell the team, Jerry.